Thank you for listening to today's episode. Go comment on my last Instagram post at SARA PR, link in the show notes, with the guest that you want to see next. I'll be picking one person from the comments to send my 52-page strategy workbook to. Make sure you hit follow on this platform to never miss an episode. If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to leave a review and share on your socials. See you next time. Hello, my Richies, and welcome to the 100th episode of the Make Life Rich Movement podcast. My name is Sara. I'm your host. And in today's episode, we're going to be recapping some of my favorite episodes and the fan favorites. My Richies, you guys have spoken. There are absolutely a landslide of episodes that are being listened to more than others, and I want to highlight these episodes that are resonating with you, my audience, my community, my tribe. Thank you so much for listening to these 100 episodes over the last few months. I launched the show in March, and, I had every expectation of this being something that I knew I would grow slow and low. I knew it would take time to get audience members. I knew it would take time to get my views up, and I have been absolutely blown away by your reception. There are over 35 countries that are tuning in and listening, which blows my mind. This was never something I thought about when I started the show. Like, who would be listening? Where would they be listening from? Like, how old are they? Like, it's just the analytics alone of who you are, my Richies, and what you're comprised of just lets me know that my message is something that is more universal than an entrepreneur. We are all looking for a path that allows our passion and our purpose to intertwine in a way that allows both our talents to shine and our impact to be absolutely gigantic. And through these next few clips that will be this episode, I'll be highlighting some of my favorite answers to my final question that I ask all of my guests, which is, how do you make your life rich? So we'll be highlighting some of the people that I've interviewed over the 100 episodes and kind of just going through what their why is, like why they started themselves on this journey of self-growth or becoming an entrepreneur or launching a product or starting a business or, working on themselves in a way that allows them to continue elevating or, high achievement. There's just so many ways in which you have aligned with and identified with my guests, and that lets me know I'm on the right track. It would mean the world to me if you could go into this episode, wherever you're listening from, which I'm guessing is Spotify, or maybe YouTube, and please leave me a comment on YouTube or a voice note on Spotify to let me know who you'd like to hear from. I want to make sure that we are always on the same journey and the same path. And if there's a particular entrepreneur or thought leader or motivational speaker that you want to learn and know more about, I would absolutely love to learn more about them too. I want to take a pause for a second and really just take a moment to soak in the fact that I am recording my 100th episode. I've been a 14-year publicist and strategist. I've worn many hats in my life, and I can say by far the one that I align with the most and have found the most joy with has been sharing other people's stories via my show. Podcasting is something that I have very much been drawn to since the early days of Joe Rogan when I first came across what a podcast was. And when I was younger, thoughts of being a radio host were always cool and exciting, but it didn't really have much room for growth or, being able to be as large as what I wanted to accomplish and the goals and dreams that I had. I needed a bigger platform. I needed something more, and podcasting truly fit that bill. When I started the Make Life Rich Movement podcast, I had one goal in mind, and that was to highlight business owners that are doing things for good. We've highlighted inventors, countless inventors that are creating projects and products that do not exist on the market, and they are solving a problem that they have or someone close to them has had, and it has been the impetus that led them to going down this path of creation and production and ultimately starting a business. We spoke with celebrities. We spoke with influencers. We spoke with thought leaders. We spoke with therapists. It's been across the board. So many unique individuals, music producers, Spotify podcast producers. And the thing that always intrigued me about all of these people was that I could tell that they are living their life to the fullest, that they've truly met and found their passion project that they're going to take through life, and their talents are really shining through in a way that, really draws me to it. Their energy is on the same frequency, the same wavelength, and I beeline there, and I gotta know everything about them. I'm a stalker at heart, okay? All publicists are good stalkers. They're the ones that you call when you need to know about a boyfriend or something. Like, my skills could be utilized by the FBI, but when I find someone I'm interested in and I'm so intrigued by what they're doing and I have to know more, I get to stalking. And then once I've stalked enough to know that they've got something to share, particularly with you, my Richies, I message them. It's always as simple as that. I've never gone through any great lengths or jumped through any hoops. There's always just been a resonance that happens between myself and the guest in the DMs or in the email. And then lo and behold, there is an interview. And over that interview, if you haven't seen many of the episodes, maybe this is your first one of the Make Life Rich movement, let you know I'm a crier. I'm crying right now. I'm going to have to fix my makeup later because I'm doing a photo shoot after this. But I would just weep with joy for these people that are hearing their story and listening to things they overcame and finding the root of why they're doing what they're doing. Typically it lends back to their childhood and a dream they had or something that was super monumental in their development. And it led to what they're doing now. It led to cultivating those talents over their lifetime. It led to their passion continually evolving and steering towards the trajectory of life that they're supposed to be on. And that means a lot to me because that's how I felt my life has progressed. And it's rare. It's rare that people don't quit and that they keep going. And through adversity and trauma and insane quick growth, it's actually sort of a problem because they weren't prepared, and heartaches and divorces and bankruptcies. There's just so many different layers to life, and people still triumph through them. They still grow, they still evolve, they still level up, they're still working on becoming the high achiever they know that they are inside. And I am on a journey of perfecting my high achiever self. I don't want to be on my deathbed and wonder about who I could have been because I didn't put in the work. And every guest that you will hear from in these next clips absolutely lives their day to the fullest, their life to the fullest. They are pursuing their passion. They are living out their mission day to day with the work that they do. And it is both a privilege and an honor to have spoken with them and shared their story with you, my Richies. I do this for you guys, and I feel so blessed that you trust me with this and that you keep coming back. It's in the analytics, guys. It's in the data. You keep coming back and it floors me. Literally, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. If you could do me one favor on this really special day, it would mean a lot to me if you could follow and rate this show on Spotify. And if you're listening on YouTube, if you aren't already subscribing, please subscribe, like it, save it for later, or share it with a friend. I literally do this for the goal of sharing other people's stories and inspiring others to make their dream come true. When we are living in autonomy with what we truly know we deserve for ourselves, that is when I believe things start getting good. And that is when I believe that things start getting rich. And my Richies, you deserve nothing more than to live the richest life. Let's hear from some of the guests that we've had over the last 100 episodes on how they live and make their life rich. So my last question for all of my guests is, how do you make your life rich?
Ooh. For me, I because I'm in right now, I've been traveling all over, but because I'm in the city a lot, I need to travel. And so traveling for me is a reset to my entire nervous system. And I'm not just talking about like travel. I need to travel and I need to hike. I need to be in nature. And that is, I've realized the last 2 years of my life, like being in nature is extremely grounding for me. I have to do it. So that's how I make my life rich. For me, life is not about how much money you make or anything
Mhm.
like that. It's just about how happy you are and how much you're feeding your soul.
So the last question that I ask every guest is, what makes your life rich?
I think what makes my life rich is my community. I think community is very, very much so important. Even if you are introverted, even if you are kind of a independent person or what you would call a loner, I think I spend a lot of time alone. I was often in jobs where I was alone. And even as a chef, I work alone. I don't have a team. But I think community is very, very much so important, whether it's your friends, your family, your local like yoga class, or like your just people in your neighborhood. I think that is so, so essential. And I always encourage people to build community. No matter what. And I think oftentimes we think we can do this alone. We think we've got it. We're super smart. We're super savvy. And then you have days, or you have weeks or months where like you can't, like you literally can't. And that's where that community comes in, to give you the breaks, to give you the space, to give you the shoulder to cry on, to give you the reference to, someone that you really, really needed to talk to. And so I think, yeah, that is essentially like what makes my life rich. I would not have Kids Table without community. I would not have the career as a chef as a community. I don't, I have really relied on community to help me pivot, especially as an entrepreneur. I think as an entrepreneur, you kind of have to you use your resources, you use what you got. And so, over these years, I've had to call on community for like whether it's jobs or, the other day I actually had to ask a friend to borrow a cupcake pan because I needed a cupcake pan for a dinner party that I'm doing coming up. And it was just like, and I needed it in an instant. And I was like, oh my God, like I have to test the recipe. I called her up. She's like, great, I got it. I'll drop it off. And it's like that's community. And yeah, that's truly what makes my life rich. And then also like the little beings in my life, the little humans, that a lot of the kids I used to nanny or families I used to work for, a lot of them I'm still connected to, and so we'll have little play dates.
Oh,
Yesterday I took some kids. We went out for ice cream, and then we like went for a walk. A couple weeks ago, I took some kids to Coney Island, which is like this like amusement park in New York, and so like I think it's just they really, really, truly like make my life rich. And I think they're a constant reminder of like, wow, like I'm really like doing something good. And that I have like progressed. So yeah.
oh my God. You are such a treasure of a soul. I'm
Oh my
so thankful that I
God, so
got
are
to. I'm
you.
obsessed with you. I'm obsessed with you. And your
No, this is
mission. Your mission is so important for not only the food industry. One,
yes,
it is way beyond time to have more Black female CEOs in all industries, but the food
yes.
industry especially. So, what makes your life rich?
Mm. The time that I get to spend doing things that I love, whether that's inside of work or out. I just actually released an episode about, and I didn't come on this intending to, to be selling myself, but I just released an episode about my morning routine, and I have like anywhere from 2.5 to 4.5 hours in the morning to myself because as I've said to you and others, I haven't drank alcohol yet this year. It's something that I'm trying. I actually feel really good. I'm getting a ton of good sleep, but I wake up at like 5:30 in the morning. And so what makes my life rich is like getting to walk outside when the sun is rising and walk my dog, and there's like no one around in my very
Yeah.
small town, and like nothing's open yet, and just being able to walk around and either listen to the silence or like start my day really, running or listening to music. Like just being able to be like, Beth, what do you want right now? And just doing that. That is like the biggest gift in the world to me. I could cry about it because that's what every entrepreneur wants. That's why we do this, because that's why we struggle all the time, because we know that there are times in our life where like we're going to be able to get everything that we actually wanted, and that we like write in all of our notebooks, and that we like cry about at night. Like this period of my business is why I started it, and it's taken me a long, really difficult journey to get here, but like that's what makes my life rich, is that like I designed it, and like I get to be like, "Hey, Beth, like what's good for you? Like do what's good for you."
Yeah. I love that.
Darn, I
We're
didn't
crying
get to
together.
cry.
Ah, your autonomy brings me joy, friend.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Um,
Same to
no,
you.
dude, you're right. It's literally the reason why I do this. I think there's nothing that repels me quicker than someone telling me what the fuck to do, and I rage. I'm like, no,
Yes.
you want to tell me shit.
Yeah. Don't tell me
And
how it's always been done. I'm gonna
dude,
tell you how we're gonna do it. Yeah.
what makes your life rich?
Ooh. Um, my son. My son, spending time with my son. Walking. I love walking. I like to, for somebody who's very connected, man, I guess I'm addicted to social media. I don't know. I don't like saying it, but maybe this will help move the needle for me in that, where I'm just like, I'm not going to scroll. I love not being connected to my phone. Leaving my phone at home, or I have like the worst watch tan line. So like when I take off my watch, that's a good sign. Like I'm disconnecting. If you see a bright white ring around my wrist, it's because I'm disconnecting. So yeah, I think that's definitely just spending quality time with my son and just being disconnected, just being really present.
I love that.
Yeah.
How do you make your life rich?
Ooh. That's a hard question because I am like I did figure out more of who I was back then, but I'm still figuring out things in terms of, you know, this career is the reason why I realized that I'm queer. And like I remember the first time that someone was like, "Oh, I love like here's a queer artist that I love." And that was the first time that anyone had referred to me as queer, and I was like, that feels so good. Like it felt right. It felt like I had
Mhm.
tried on a piece of clothing that fit like a glove. And because I've always been in circles that are like, oh, Elizabeth, the straight girl that has a crush on this girl. And I'm like, what? That doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
being seen so clearly by my audience is what makes my life rich. Giving back and helping people um, just embrace who they are, embrace their lack of filter as a positive. I'm always going to be one of my biggest struggles was there's no work Elizabeth versus home Elizabeth. You get the same Elizabeth all the time. And I didn't know how to do that in a work environment that was so buttoned up. And now not having to do that and being rewarded for being myself all the time and speaking my mind and telling stories that might have been uncomfortable to tell otherwise, and doing things that piss people off, but knowing that there's enough other people that appreciate it. I just feel like I've gotten so much validation in who I am from my work, and being able to continue to like use feedback from my community and from my interactions with the world to create things that push that further and can hopefully deliver the same message to somebody else who felt like they didn't belong, who always felt like the weird, talkative, overly showy person. That you're not like wanting attention is not a bad thing. That just means you need attention,
Uh-uh.
you know? So
Yeah.
like rephrasing or like reshaping how you see things has made my life rich, and helping other people do that, I think too.
Ugh, you got me. I'm a crier. I cry every episode, and you got me.
Oh my gosh,
I
I'm
love
honored.
that so much. I think it's so important, though. We often get into business with a very specific why,
Yeah.
and then the why gets diluted down day by day by day by procedure, by systems, by this, by that,
But how other
and then
people
you find
perceive you
yourself in a
too.
right, and then you find yourself in a place to where you're like, how did I get here? Like,
Yeah.
this was not what I was going for. And what Elizabeth just said was that her business is in perfect alignment with who she is inside, what she wants to be doing out in the world, and what she's good at. And if you've ever felt lost, or you're a business owner feeling lost right now, this is just par for the course. It is literally par for the course. My husband calls it the not path. We read it and heard it on a podcast, so he didn't coin that. Neither did I. We heard it somewhere. We forgot the dude's name. It's called the not path. Just because you don't feel like all of these things are aligning for you like they are for Elizabeth right now doesn't mean they won't happen. It just means that you know where you're at isn't the place where you need to be, and you can go find another place where you're not supposed to be at and keep going around. It's like a choose your own adventure until you find the ending that you think fits, and then stay there and get comfortable, and then turn around and help other people get comfortable and get to that place where you are. And in that time frame, someone else is going to turn around ahead of you and reach back and help you to get more comfortable leveling up. It is a process that is so intricate and so much like woo-woo than any business professional is going to tell you. Hannah, how do you make your life rich?
I think that I find joy and gratitude every day, and using that, like, it's, I'm not out here, like, touting a secret. I'm not out here saying you have to, like, spend money, you don't have to hire me as a coach, you don't have to know that book, but literally, like, writing down and verbalizing gratitude every day, finding joy every day, and being intentional with your body, whether that is like physical movement, meditation, prayer, getting some extra rest if your body is telling you that you need it. Like, it is all serving you well to do, and I think our society focuses so hard on like looking at physical a certain kind of way. And it's like, okay, what if we spend all that time and energy focusing on like how our heart and mind feel? Like, we would be a lot better off, I think. So, if you want to physically move, I think that's really great, because movement is medicine. But if your body needs other things, be attuned to that and do it.
I love it. Thank you so much for being on, Hannah. Jackie, how do you make your life rich?
I make my life rich, I think, by doing something that I love, by having God in the center of our family, being surrounded by people that love, support us, and helping out whenever I can. And I feel like something that we didn't speak about, and is something that also helps drive me every day, is the real purpose and also mission behind Lady Alpha. So I have this big vision and dream to create what is called the Alma Foundation, which is a foundation named after my mother. Alma Rosa is her name. And what that is I feel like Lady Alpha is a stepping stone to building what is going to be Alma Rosa. And I want it integrated into all of the school systems to help fund activities for underprivileged children, like dance, if they want to do anything in I don't know, engineering or in the math sciences. To me, when I was younger, I was really into dance, and I was like naturally very good at it. But I would be with my mom when she'd be on the phone with the bank, like, hey, there's only $90 in the account. Like, I was not going to ask her, hey, mom, put me in dance. And so I want to be like that source of help for other children. I don't think any child should ever have to miss out because of things that are happening at home or it's out of their control. And I don't want to cry, but I feel like that's really what helps drive me and motivate me and like make this work, make Lady Alpha work.
So beautiful. I have absolutely no doubt you are going to make it happen. How do you make your life rich?
Oh my gosh. That's such a great question. You know, I get so much out of being outdoors and in nature. So I get so much of my just fulfillment and energy in being out there and really almost communing with all of life that way. And I'm lucky I've got 3 fantastic kids who are nearby. They like to spend time with me, so we have a lot of fun together. I do gardening. I kind of always just do the next best thing. And I am so interested in being connected with people and learning about their lives. That just fulfills me so much too. So, and this is incredible. I was thinking as we were talking, who would have thought that we would somehow get connected so we could have this conversation. I'm still kind of in awe about this because I never thought I was going to be on a podcast. I think it's great and I love what you do. And, so the universe put us together. And it's just, my kids always say I'm a little nutty, and I probably am. But, if my life is enriched by magical thinking, so be it.
Wow, I'm just so blown away. I can't. Thank you so much for this. Thank you for coming on my show and sharing this with me and giving me the ability to share it with everyone else. And just thank you. Oh, I have one final question I ask all of my guests, which I almost forgot. How do you make your life rich?
Experiences. The experiences is totally what makes my life rich, and part of making that is to let the experiences in, let them nourish me, let them say, oh, this is the moment I really, really wanted. I'm so grateful it's happening, and I'm actually getting nourished by it. So yeah, that's how my life is rich. Lots of wonderful, wonderful experiences.
So beautiful.
Including this one.
So beautiful. John, thank you. Catherine, my final question to all of my guests is, how do you make your life rich?
Through connection. How predictable of an answer is that? But really, connection to me is the center place of all healing. So if I want to be present to myself, if I want to be, if I want to feel alive in the world, that's not achieved by waking up or having coffee or accomplishing goals. To me, it's achieved by connecting to myself, feeling what it feels like to be me, to be in my body, to be in my world, to have my history, to have my ideas, to have all my emotions, being awake to all of that. And so that looks like not numbing out as much. Yeah. Really, you can't be connected and numb at the same time. So I've had to really change a lot of habits around alcohol and mindless eating and mindless scrolling and mindless, overworking and all of that stuff. So a rich life to me looks like less numbing, more connection.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And that sounds delightful. How do you make your life rich?
Ooh, I love that question. I make my life rich by claiming the present moment again and again and again, rather than living from the past or the future.
That's good. Presence is a present.
Yeah, presence is a present. It's so true.
I love that a lot. And you know what? You do really feel a certain level of, if anything, maybe just I guess it would be oneness, or just the, the even hurts that come into your body when everything is great. And presence can, once you figure it out, it's really cool to be able to implement at any moment. So I love that that's how you make your life rich. That's so beautiful for you, and it's going to spread like wildfire to anybody that you come in contact with that day. So that's Beautiful. That's amazing. Christina, thank you so much for coming on the Make Life Rich movement. Laura, how do you make your life rich?
How do I make my life rich? A lot goes into what I just said, choosing my people, choosing who I surround myself with, and also choosing my thoughts. I am solely responsible for my own happiness in life. No one else is here on this planet to make me happy. It is my number one job in the world. And I take it seriously because when I am happy and when I am the best version of me, I show up better for my people that I love so dearly.
Yeah. Ooh, got me again. That was beautiful. Guys, check every single show note I'm going to put in the bottom of this episode. Laura, you are a treasure. I am just so thankful I got to speak with a powerhouse like you. Thank you for sharing all of your advice and recounting your stories with us. And thank you for your book. Your book is amazing. How do you make your life rich?
I make my life rich by turning my phone off.
Oof.
Just turn it off. Walk away. It's so funny. I'm in my like woo phase where it's like I'm so ingrained in tech.
Mm-hmm.
It makes my heart so happy to just shut it down. Walk away, listen to the birds, pick some flowers. I don't hug trees yet, but maybe one day. But
You've got plenty near you.
Yeah, it's like I will literally go and I will just sit by the creek and just do yoga and just chill. And I think being willing to just turn it off and not feeling guilt for doing it is what richness looks like for me. It has nothing to do with my bank account, like not even remotely close.
Yeah.
But I think that desire or that pull to be constantly tethered in, that is jail for me. So when I can just be like, oh, I'm gone. You ain't getting out of office. You're not getting nothing from me.
Yes.
I am just living my best life, kissing babies and visiting friends. I'm good. Yeah. That's rich for me. So yeah, just turning it off.
Love that. It's so beautiful. And how do you make your life rich?
Well, so I have three amazing daughters and my husband. So that base, that ground base for me is very important. I feel that I want to say this too because I think you're going to take this and run with this. I hope. So I'm very lucky that we're in Silicon Valley and my husband is with Apple and we've just been extremely lucky. And with that, we believe that, luck is when preparation meets opportunity, and there's a lot of responsibility with that. And so we obviously take that hugely into our lives. I will say that I feel that the fulcrum, the balance. So I feel that a lot of people in this world, in the developed world, think that the more you have in money and wealth and stuff is the goal. And I actually think there's a different goal. I think the goal is this sweet spot of balance. And I don't think there should be a growing middle class. I think there should be a growing balanced class. That because balance is kind of dynamic. It's a little more fun than just being in the middle seat or the middle row or whatever. Like who wants to be there? But I can understand that there's struggles and challenges that everybody sees for lower income. But I think people don't see the burden and issues and challenges for having too much, and I see it. And I wish more and more people would see that so they wouldn't be trying to go there. I think that really, look around your circle and look around the world and find the people that are balanced and look to them for guidance. I can see you're balanced. I know so many people that are, that are satisfied and shining in the way that they are connected to each other, to nature, to purpose, to whatever it is, and so I think the way I make myself rich is by trying to connect with as many people like that as possible.
Ooh, I love that. That speaks to me very deeply. We're of the same grain of sand, Lisa. It was such a pleasure. Guys, again, please check in the show notes and head over to their Instagram, check out what they're doing, and then jump over to their website. There's a lot there. And no matter how you'd like to get involved, there's so many different ways to go about doing it. So please do that today. It takes little to no effort. Lisa, this was a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on, and I will be watching.
Thank you so much.
The last question I ask all of my guests is, how do you make your life rich?
I make my life rich by spending time with children, soaking up everything that children have to offer. I believe that society is only a reflection of how well the children in that society are doing. And so if you can spend time with those beautiful beings, you will be a very happy person. And for those of you that are like, I'm not a children person, or I don't see room in my life for children, that is completely valid. At the same time, understand that there's some child that has something to learn from you. And if you can even just make effort for one kid in your life annually, I think that is a beautiful thing. So spend time with kids.
That's so perfect and so true. So
Thank
true.
you.
This was such a beautiful conversation. Thank you so much for coming on. It means a lot to me. I cannot wait to see this book hit the New York Times bestseller list and all the other ones that are out there. I would love to know how you make your life rich.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I try to make my life rich with really focusing on the things that make me happy and really being in tune with that. So, I love dance, so I try to do, I'm not a dancer or anything. I try to do dance cardio in the morning because that gets me excited, or dance fitness classes, being active. I love the summer, so I always try to find activities that are outside and being involved with nature and really focusing on spending my time with like the people who mean a lot to me. So whether that's like my sister or my family or my friends or my boyfriend, like really putting a lot of energy into that. I think like when I was younger, I was very like set on career and only career. But as I grew older, I just think life is like, there's especially after COVID, there's always just, the career is not always going to be there. I know this is like a career podcast, but the career is not always going to be there. And I don't want to put more energy into my career than I am putting into like my personal development. So, and always being in tune with myself. Like if I need to journal, if I need to take a step back, like listening to my body. If one day I just cannot physically work out, then I'm not going to beat myself up for that. So just like really being in tune with myself and like really making an effort to do the things I love with the people I love.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that answer. So great.
Thank you.
Nakia, this was such a pleasure. How do you make your life rich?
I think rich has a lot of definition, right? I think for me, rich is like if I'm happy every day or not. So like, I think so as an entrepreneur, actually being happy every day is really difficult. I didn't know that until I started my own company, because I was a girl that like who is like usually optimistic and happy. I didn't know that if I do start my own company, in one day, there's a so exciting thing happen while something broke in the company. So like, there's a lot of emotional up and down that I never experienced in my life. It's like, I'm really I'm okay with the stress, but like this stress was really, really high for me as well. So I think that like, I always in the morning thinking about, okay, what I want to achieve today, and then there's one thing I can do for me to make me happy. It's a small step. I cannot do every day, even though I said that I'm trying, but that is something I want to practice, that like, okay, is there one thing I can I can thankful of, or there's one thing I can make me happy. So like really help me to keep going. So yeah.
That's beautiful. And that's really good advice, because until you are in the thick of it. And for that level of stress to be happening, it means success is, if it's not knocking on your door, it's already come in and it's all over your house. So it's a beautiful give and take, but I really appreciate you sharing that, because not all business owners, especially successful ones in your place, really talk about the ups and the downs that are happening simultaneously, which can, kind of take away from your happiness, even though there are things to be so happy about. So thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that. It's very poignant. But Naomi, how do you make your life rich?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think for me, it's both partly an individual thing and being part of this company. I have felt so much fulfillment of being part of a company that helps women, truly. And I, never want that to change. I will always advocate for women's health and for, better breast imaging in this case. And my life feels so rich for that reason. And I'm so happy to be a part of it, and so happy to talk to you and be able to tell your listeners about this. And, if anybody wants to be an advocate, please feel free to reach out. We have so many documents and, collateral that we can share. We have cute pins that you can wear. We have everything, and I just want to make it an easier process for women. And when you and I are at the age when we get our mammograms, hopefully we won't have to get that, and KBCT will be everywhere. So that's the goal.
Yes. I love that. Naomi, thank you so much. That's so beautiful. And I'm just thankful that you are with them, and that this is something that's real and that actual women are able to use right now.
Yes.
Okay, ladies, my final question for my guests is always, how do you make your life rich? So whoever would like to go first.
You can say?
What?
I'm gonna break it down to one thing that happened to me this summer, because I think it's actually it ties in so well. So I had a friend who also had cancer, and we sat together, and I was talking about how much love there is around me, right? And how much I value that, and I see that, especially when I was away on vacation, how much I appreciate all the people that demonstrate their love, right? And he said to me, he goes, and it was a full moon that night. He goes, look at the moon. He goes, see how bright it is? He said, that moon doesn't shine by itself. If the sun didn't exist, that moon would be nothing. And he said that the sun is the love that's around you. The sun is the reason for your brightness. The love is the reason for your brightness. And so I can attribute that to what makes life rich. What makes is the impact that and the love and the care that gets reverted back from seeing and speaking and donating and offering time and having conversations. That's what makes life rich. I mean, yesterday I spoke to 2 people, but yesterday I spoke to about 3 people who are dealing with serious cancer illnesses. And we were talking about, for hours. I was on the phone with them at least 3-4 hours yesterday. And they're like, Margaret, how do you do it? How do you run these businesses? How do you do what you do? And I say to myself, this is what I do. You're hearing it. I walk into my store and I talk to people and I tell them what the importance is. We teach our employees to show compassion, to show care. And if a kid's crying, explain to them, or, sit down, get on their level, right? It is the love that comes back that makes us rich.
Oh, so beautiful. Nina?
Me? I think what makes my life rich is, I guess, similar to what Margaret said. Just being around and having the little genuine happy moments with family and friends, just those special, intimate, moments. I think just having those people around you that love you and care for you, family, friends, things like that. Those are the moments that that make life rich. You feel genuinely happy, genuinely good, and those are special. Yeah.
Oh, so beautiful. And it's so beautiful that you both have each other, and that this is the circumstance you find yourselves in. And I'm very happy that this was the outcome of something really devastating and could have ruined your life, but it seems like it's helped to really fortify your life and give it a whole lot more purpose. And so, Sam, how do you make your life rich?
I love this question. When I was reading like the question, I was like, wow, I couldn't wait for this question because this is gonna sound made up. I'll show it to you. I'm in my daughter's room right now. It's way more colorful than this. This is like the one wall that has nothing on it. But I think I have to show it to you. Can I grab it?
Okay.
You're gonna think it's made up.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, go for it. I'm excited.
I made up this mantra for our family, like when I was pregnant with her, and the first line says, "We are so rich." So how cute is this? Someone drew it for us. My old friends from the wing, actually. So that's the first line in it, and it's so this concept of like having these like rich moments in your life is something that really resonates with me. I really, really try to, I have a dedicated spiritual practice, and I'm like such a believer in like, whether you have like an energy healer or a therapist, like I'm all about it. I've always, for over 20 years now, like I've been, since I'm a teenager, like I have really had this like special person in my life. And the way that I make my life rich is being so intentional about like celebrating. It sounds so simple, but when you do, it just makes such a big difference in my life. I make a thing out of everything. Like if I can celebrate something, I celebrate it. Like for example, so like tonight we have pizza on Friday nights here, and it's like, okay, some Fridays I'm like, let's make it a glitter pizza party, like and the tablecloth is from Amazon, and like it's Tuesday and I'm on Amazon at 1 a.m. and I'm like, glitter tablecloth, little fringe for the door. It's like we are making everything a party. My 3.5-year-old like now thinks that everything, I'm like, okay, not everything is a party, but really it's just, this is how impressionable it is. Like every day now it's like, what are we doing for a party? What's a party? So everything is like a celebration, whether it's like the first day of school, it's your half birthday, it's your, it's Valentine's Day, like all the little things. Like I love any little thing that I can grab onto to like celebrate and turn it into something like a magic moment, or make it a little bit special and a little bit more rich. I am all about that. I'm all about that. So I really try to make things a thing and celebrate as much as I can, especially the little stuff, for sure.
Oh, I love that. That's so beautiful, and a good way to treasure every day,
Yeah.
It's important. How do you make your life rich?
I think I really have become more of a nature fanatic since living in the Redwoods. I really do have to get outside every day. For a long time, being a remote worker, I'd be stuck inside all day, even though I had the option to get outside. It's like you just get stuck. I love my dog. I have a 5-year-old dog that I got over COVID, and he is definitely my son. Yeah. So he brings me a lot of joy, and I'm really thankful to be around my family and friends. Like I was gone for 13 years, so it feels good to reconnect and be closer to my friends' kids and all of that.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much for coming on the show. This was so awesome to get like a sneak peek into this world that's still so new, and to hear from someone that's been there from day one. It was a treat. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your information. Shira, this was such a pleasure. I'm going to ask you the last question that I asked all of my guests. How do you make your life rich?
Like just in any way, like how does it
like your feelings, your mental health, your physical health, like being able to just like go and do whatever you want because you can, because you have freedom. Like what makes you feel like your best?
What makes me feel my best, what makes me feel rich, I would say, is taking care of the body that you're in. So I would say like working out, feeding yourself with like nutritional food makes me feel rich. Like
you have the option of whatever you put in your body. So I always like to I love cooking and I like to eat clean. And then also just sometimes just kind of allowing yourself to spend on yourself because you deserve it. And not being, I like to say, not holding on to money so tight because then it wants to let go. So have those experiences. You never have tomorrow guaranteed. So go buy the trip, just stuff like that. Like be spontaneous and allow yourself to spoil yourself if you can.
I love that. That is beautiful. And you deserve all of that, and so does everyone listening.
So do you, yeah. So do we all, right?
Yeah. Cheer, this was a pleasure. You are such a freaking rock star, a high achieving MFer, and I am so thankful to now know you. How do you make your life rich?
Ooh. Wow. I really have been trying to just notice the little things and to be present.
Yeah.
Like curating an environment around me that is in line with how I feel as a person, as spiritual being, as a creative person is so important. So even in my home, everything's filled with, like I mentioned earlier, like little knickknacks from people I love or things I've collected. I recently started going to the beach more, which sounds silly. I live in San Diego. Like I'm born and raised here, and I didn't go to the beach very much. I'm very scared of the ocean. But I go to this one dog park that's on the beach, and it just has the most beautiful yet calm water. And going into the ocean and just noticing the colors and how the water feels has been so, like, I will time block probably later today sometime to just go quick jump into the ocean. It's just like noticing those little things or how I'm choosing to make this stressful, arguably scary time enjoyable, because dealing with manufacturing issues and dealing with people saying no or trying to rip us off or doing this or that's just not fun. Like it's not fun. But the view out my window is really beautiful, and cuddling my dog's cute little face is wonderful, and laughing with my husband about like just insane things we've done in the past is beautiful. So finding those little beautiful moments in the chaotic shit that is the world right now is how I am making my life rich.
Oh, so beautifully said. Victoria, thank you so much. This was so delightful. Lauren, how do you make your life rich?
How do I make my life rich? Well, I have an adorable 15-month-old baby. I'm like, literally, she is everyone says this, it's so cliche, but like the best thing that ever happened to me. I have a great husband, a supportive family, so I'm very lucky for that. I love to play tennis, so that's been my, my passion. I've really had a hard time like shedding the baby weight and things like that. I have a Peloton in my house, which like I really hate going on. I've already established. I did it this morning because there was this like Taylor Swift ride, and it actually got me through the ride. And I'm not like a big. I'm very intrigued by her, and she does have good music, but I'm also getting like a little annoyed by like the whole.
Everywhere. She's everywhere.
But my daughter's favorite song is Anti-Hero.
PR.
Literally. No, my daughter's favorite song is Anti-Hero, so I feel like she's not going anywhere in our household. And yeah, I think just like finding joy in my clients. Like I am so lucky. I think and I do say to both all my clients, like I would one day be open to going in-house for your brand if you go. I would, but then at the same time, I would need them to be like, well, but you could also still have your side hustles and help out others. And then food, eating good food, sharing good food with the world, new restaurants, crossing things off my bucket list, travel. My husband and I love traveling. We also have an account called Your Next Bucket List, which we really only post when we travel.
I love that.
Although I just went to Blue Hill Stone Barns, which is like an incredible experience that it's, you know, it's definitely something to save up for and put on your bucket list. But I shared that on Your Next Bucket List because I figured it made sense.
Oh my.
Yeah, just and really just like trying to be happy, but also, you know, bringing awareness to certain causes that, you know, people, there's just so much misinformation out there. And I think just, you know, spreading not hate and love and joy and
Peace. Peace, peace, peace.
yes. So, yeah, that's it. What about you?
Oh my God. I love that you turned it around on me. I would say I make my life rich by getting into nature every day, spending time with pretty much unbridled time with my husband, our dog, and working on things that mean something to me that is helping to positively contribute rather than negatively take away from the world. And work-wise, I make my life rich through this podcast. It has brought me so much joy. My 100th episode is on Sunday. I can't even believe it's happened this fast. I'm going to cry ugly
Number
Oprah
is
tears. This is 98.
Okay, that's exciting.
Oh, wait, no, you're 99. You're going to be tomorrow. You're on Thursday, so you'll be 99.
Tomorrow? Whoa.
Wait, what day is today? Monday. I'm all turned around. So you will be on Thursday, so you're 99. And then 100 is on Sunday. I post 3 times a week, so.
You're really good. And I will say, Sarah, like, she's so honest. Like, I've another thing too with podcasts. I mean, you heard the big brands I worked with. I worked with incredible founders who were begging, like podcast, you know, hosts were begging me to have my founders on. And, you know, now I'm working with some smaller brands. Amazing. They have amazing stories, but unfortunately, these bigger ones are, you know, either just don't answer or they say they have to pass for a moment. And I always just try to ask why. And, you know, I feel like they hate that question, but I just want to be able to have the tools to give back to the client. But I'm sure the answer is they're probably not big enough yet. And they don't want to say that, but at least just be honest. And, but you know what, that's fine. I could insinuate that in my head. But, Sarah, for instance, I know, you know, she may have a little smaller podcast than some of the ones with the millions and millions of streams, but I feel like your consistency and your questions, and I mean, I was so honored to be asked to be on a podcast, and I think that every person starts somewhere, and who knows, you know, Sarah could have 1 million streams in a year, like it depends, and I feel like consistency is key, so,
Thank you. Well, my Richies, what'd you think? Incredible, right? So inspiring. Makes you feel like they're talking to you. Because they are. We're all the same. Doesn't matter what industry you're in, what experience you have, what people have told you they think you can do, what you've told yourself you think you can do. It really comes down to what you tell yourself you're going to do and what you're willing to accept for yourself and what steps and measures you're going to take to make sure that it happens. And this is by no means an easy feat, and it's emotional, and it feels like turmoil, and it feels like complete chaos and joyous and frightening and emboldening and blissful. Feels right. It feels like everything you've ever wanted and more. And the one thing that I've gathered from the stories that I've shared with you on the show, as well as what I've gone through over the last 2 years in like really blowing up what was the status quo of my life for the dream that my husband and I were really looking to live and to live together and truly together. And what I look back on and recognize is that my self-worth was given me by someone else a very long time ago. And it took my father passing away almost 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago, for me to really, truly find out who I was. Who was Sara? What did Sara want? What was Sara good at? What was Sara doing because she thought she needed to earn people's attention or affection or love or time? And then I looked at how that was influencing my business and the ways in which I was having my lack of personal growth really affect the foundations that were evolving into my business. And the one thing that really rang clear for me was that I was never going to be successful in any regard, let alone in the outrageously, just right there at the tip of my fingers, dreams that are mine. They are mine, and they are coming. They are right there. But it took incredible growth that I don't think I would have had without my father's passing. And everything has been very serendipitous, and the timing has been like what it's supposed to have been. And I wouldn't trade it for a single thing. I know absolutely in my heart that my father's passing was the greatest sacrifice that he ever could have given, because it gave me my life. It gave me everything. Everything that I have right now and everything I'll have in the future, I can attribute and really just feel so blessed for his sacrifice and what his suffering looked like throughout the time that he was alive, and how it shaped me as a person and my work ethic and what I will tolerate of myself, what I will tolerate of others. And all of that has now really evolved into me understanding so unequivocally, crystal clear, where I'm going, what I'm doing, who's coming with me, what I'm willing to accept, what my boundaries are, and how exactly I'm going to get there. And in that blueprint being put down on paper, I was not only able to rewire myself to start growing into the high achiever I know that I'm meant to be, it also allowed me to look at the ways in which my personal lack of growth had set me up for failure with my business, which then gave me the ability to rewire my business, something that I had been unconsciously doing for all of my clients over the last 14 years. You know, I could look a horse in the face and say, okay, you're a horse, here's this, but I didn't know why they were having these problems. I just knew they needed to be fixed. And they would always keep coming back. Why wasn't it getting fixed? Because we weren't fixing the root of the problem, which was the inner work that needed to happen, which I have now gone through. I am still in the process of, and I've helped countless entrepreneurs to grow through while also developing and building out the very necessary structures in their business that are going to really seal the deal with that growth, the profit, the success that we're all looking for, both personally and professionally. I hope that this 100th episode and everyone that we recounted in it has given you the fire in your belly to get up and get out and just do one thing today that's going to get you closer to making this dream start to become a reality for you. In the show notes, there's a shitload of freebies you can go through that you can download are going to get you started on the right path. If you know that you are ready for more than that, maybe you're looking for accountability, structure, some type of expert that's going to lead you step by step into not only learning how to do it for yourself, but also simultaneously building you the business platform and systems that are not only modernized, but they are going to be in, gosh, it sounds a little robotic, but you are going to be synergistically aligned with your personal life and your business growth, and not in a way that feels suffocating and like burnout land, in a way that feels freeing and embodying and autonomous and joyful and exciting and something you can't wait to wake up every morning and share and shout from the rooftops, or at the very least TikTok or Instagram. And I want to help you make this a reality. Over the next week, depending when you're listening, this is very time sensitive, but I am opening and closing the doors very shortly on my beta group coaching program. I'm only taking 10 participants in this. We have a few people that are interested, so if you are interested, don't delay. If you want to ask me a question, use the email in the show notes, or you can use my Instagram link in the show notes to DM me, ask me all that you want to ask. But this program is available for only 10 participants. It is currently 57% off of the price that it will be in my second round that I'll be starting in January. If you think you're a good fit, if you think you're ready for more, I'm going to talk to you a little bit and send you an application. We got to make sure that your business and your mindset are in the exact right spot to be able to go through this journey. And we're going to build out your business. We're going to build out your mindset in a way that's going to support you in getting your personal life and your business way into the future of really just achieving who you are meant to be inside. We are all high achievers. If you're here and you're listening, you are a high achiever. You are put here on this planet to do something special. Your being here is not a mistake. Your listening to this episode is not a mistake. And I would love to be a part of your journey in making this a reality and making this happen for you. So if you are interested, don't delay. My Richies, it has been an absolute pleasure. I am eternally grateful for your time and your attention and your support. I am deeply honored to be able to share this time with you on the screen or audibly, and it really means a lot to me that you take 45 minutes to an hour out of your day to listen to my episodes when they come up. If I could ask you one favor, it would really mean the world to me if on Spotify you could follow and rate, as well as share this with someone. And if you're listening on YouTube, if you could subscribe if you aren't already, like, and maybe leave a comment about what you learned from this episode, it would also mean the world to me. My Richies, I thank you so much for your time, your attention, and I will see you in episode 101 on Tuesday. As always, my Richies, make life rich. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Go comment on my last Instagram post at SARANNKELLYPR. It's listed in the show notes with the guest you want to see next. I'll be picking one person from the comments to send my 52-page pre-strategy creation workbook to. Make sure you hit follow on this platform to never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to leave a review and share on your socials. It truly means so much. See you next episode, my Richies.